Hey guys, this is Dmitry with Hardware Canucks, and we're taking a look today at the latest gaming product from Func. This is their mechanical keyboard, the 460. Now, the company has always been serious about gaming, with sole focus on functionality instead of fancy gimmicky features, so that's very much appreciated. The keyboard is released at $120, but actually is supposed to drop to $100, but even then the keyboard market is extremely saturated, so we'll see how the Func handles the competition. Now let's get some of the specs out of the way. The 460 features MX Cherry red switches that are linear and are actually quite light, requiring only 45 grams of force, and these are my preferred gaming switches. We have full N key rollover, meaning there's no limit as to how many keys can be pressed simultaneously, and onboard memory for your profiles. Now let's take it out of the box. We do have some documentation. This is a plug and play keyboard, so it will function without any drivers, but Func software is available from the website that we'll cover later. It does carry some weight, has a pretty solid construction with very simple and compact aesthetic, plus an armrest is included that weirdly attaches with these clips that isn't the most convenient to mount. The armrest has the same rubberized coating as the body of the keyboard. It is very pleasant to the touch, and the shape and the angle of the armrest is very comfortable. But I don't see the point of having these separate clips, as they don't really hold the wrist rest in place and can easily be taken off, almost too easy. The body is covered in a rubberized layer that is nice to the touch, but it does tend to get quite dirty quickly because of the finger marks, but the keyboard feels nice and sturdy, and the red underplate below the keys really helps to emphasize the brightness of the backlight. So each key is individually lit, and the backlight isn't very uniform because the LED is on top of the key. Really not a big deal, but we do have 4 brightness levels plus a pulsing mode that can easily be accessed on the numpad using the function buttons, plus all the media controls that are incorporated into your F keys. And there you can also see the 5 different profiles that you can switch between, plus a Func button that disables the Windows key and enables macros. There are 2 USB pass-throughs at the back that is excellent for charging a phone and just connecting other peripherals, despite that the keyboard connects through a single USB port, plus the braided pattern cable is quite thick and plenty long. The keys layout is quite common with skinny enter key, and good thing we have that large backspace and shift buttons, as some keyboards feature strange and unconventional button sizes. Now Func hasn't outdone themselves, as this is just a plain and simple mechanical keyboard. The MX Cherry red switches are what I prefer both for typing and gaming, and so I'm used to the feel and the bounce. The linear response is definitely something you need to get used to at first, but the fast response will sure improve your gaming abilities. Now, while the keyboard isn't totally unique, I feel Func had a chance to prove themselves worthy of a consideration with the driver software, but unfortunately that's not really the case. We do have 5 profiles to switch from, backup and restore buttons, and the entire keypad to choose 4 secondary purpose options or macros. So on the left you select your M key, we get 10 in total. Select the key on the right, and in this case I've assigned my number 7 on the numpad, a command to copy, and number 8 to paste. Of course you can also record your own macros. It's a very common feature for a gaming keyboard, but unfortunately you cannot rename these macros. So unless you go back and to check what you pressed, you do not have the ability to see exactly what each of the macros does, and that I think is limiting. Also, you cannot rename your profiles, so if you have one for Battlefield 4 and the other for editing, which I would love to see be implemented. Another thing I noticed was the Func.net button did not do anything, so we've notified Func about this, and hopefully this is as simple as a driver update. Of course, gaming on the red switches to me is second nature. I did end up removing the armrest just because if I needed to move the keyboard, it was just wobble around and come off, so it certainly isn't the best design. But there are a lot of great things about the KB-460, starting with the build quality and the rubberized finish that feels good. The backlight is awesome with the red metal underplate that helps to emphasize the color. 2 additional USB pass-through right in the keyboard are always helpful, and the price at $99 is excellent considering there are non-mechanical options that cost just as much. Now, there is nothing wrong with the software, but it is limiting. I would have liked to see a rename function that just makes sense when you record your macros, and profile naming would be nice. And the clips for the wrist are unnecessary, and I think it should have been one piece. Well, that is it for the Func KB-460. It's a very simple and functional keyboard that needs a bit more polish, but it's certainly worthy of a consideration if you plan to go mechanical. So thanks guys for watching, don't forget to subscribe for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next video.